Good morning. Today's my video lesson is on solution and subtopic is vapor pressure of liquid solution. Well friends, first of all we discuss here for vapor pressure. So the meaning of vapor pressure is, simple meaning is pressure exerted by vapor. Now you know evaporation in very early classes you have seen a liquid changes into vapor, and by increasing temperature, if you increase the temperature, the process of evaporation increases. It's clear? Now we are talking about vapor pressure. So suppose this is your liquid, and one more thing is here to describe volatile and non-volatile. Volatile, you can write component. Volatile component is that component that can be changed into vapor. That means a liquid changes into vapor, so you can say it is volatile. As for example, water is volatile, alcohol is volatile, acetone is volatile. These all are volatile. But non-volatile components, you can say, in case of solid, as for example, you can't change NaCl, it's a solid, into vapor. No, you can't change. So this NaCl is non-volatile, right? Now we see, here suppose liquid is there and evaporation is going on. It takes place at all temperature. So pressure exerted by vapor of this liquid, because liquid is continuously changes into vapor. So vapor exerts pressure. This is called vapor pressure. It's a vapor pressure. Or definitely vapor pressure increases by increasing temperature. If you heat the volatile component, its vapor pressure increases, right? Now we see here that this vapor pressure is directly proportional to number of molecules. Am I right? As for example, you see here, suppose a volatile component is kept here, and here number of few molecules are there. Same volatile components are kept in larger container, and number of molecules is more. Here same volatile components are kept and number of molecules is more. So definitely it has less vapor pressure because number of molecules is less. Here vapor pressure is more in comparison to first one due to increase in number of molecules. Here vapor pressure is more than 2 because number of molecules is more than second, right? So definitely you can say if vapor pressure is directly proportional to number of molecules. If more number of molecules, vapor pressure is more. Now friends, suppose there is a solution of two component, you can say binary solution. Binary solution of two component A and B, where A is volatile and V is also volatile. Both are volatile, or you can say both are liquid. This one also liquid and this one also liquid, right? Now we prepare the mixture of A and B. That means in this solution there is some molecules of A and some molecules of B, right? A and B. Friends, you remember one thing. In theory of dilute solution, A represents for solvent or B represents for solute, right? Sometimes you may represent by 1 and 2. 1 represent for solvent and 2 represents for solute, right? Now you observe here, this solution having vapor pressure, and vapor pressure due to component A and component B both, right? Vapor pressure by component A, vapor pressure by component B, right? So how can we express vapor pressure? You can't say. Suppose you have to express the vapor pressure of A, then you should express partial vapor pressure. Partial vapor pressure. Or you can write here PA, partial vapor pressure. And for component B, you should represent partial vapor pressure PV. Okay. Now, you know, vapor pressure is directly proportional to number of molecules. But here, in solution, two components are present. So, we can say or we can represent the mole fraction. Mole fraction of A, mole fraction of B, right? That means partial vapor pressure is directly proportional to XA, mole fraction of A, and partial vapor pressure of B, component B, is directly proportional to XV. It's very clear, because vapor pressure is directly proportional to number of molecules. In solution, we can represent the mole fraction. Here mole fraction of A is also present and mole fraction of B is also present. Regarding this, there is a law that is called Raoult's law. So we will see Raoult's law. Well friends, according to Raoult's law, for a solution of volatile liquids, the partial vapor pressure of each component in the solution is directly proportional to its mole fraction, as I have told you Right, we see here it's a solution of two component PA and PV, and here B stand for solute and A stand for solvent. So you see in figure, solute particle is less than solvent, so vapor pressure by solvent is more than solute, because vapor pressure, or you can say partial vapor pressure PA, depends on number of mole fractions. Mole fractions of component A is more than B, right? So according to Rolle's law, we can write partial vapor pressure of component A is directly proportional to mole fraction of component A, and PA is equal to P naught A XA, where P naught A is proportionality constant, and it is vapor pressure of pure solvent, right? Friends, you think over it, that we have written here PA is equal to P naught A XA. So what about XA? If XA equal to 1, so what is the situation where XB is equal to 0? Only then it is possible. As you know, XA plus XB is equal to 1, and XA equal to 1 if XB equal to 0. That means in solution there is no mole fraction of component B. So here you put the value of XA equal to 1, then PA equal to P naught A. It is true. Partial vapor pressure of component is equal to vapor pressure of pure solvent, right? So similarly, in case of solute, you can write PB is equal to P naught B XB, where PV is partial vapor pressure of component B and P naught B is vapor pressure of pure solute B, and XB is the mole fraction. Now, what is the value of total vapor pressure by solution? So definitely we add PA and PV. So you can write P total vapor pressure of solution. This is equal to PA plus PV. Now you write PA. What is the value of PA from this equation? Let this equation be 1 and this is 2. So from 1 and 2, P naught A XA plus P naught B XB. Now you can write XA in term of XB. So definitely this is 1 minus XB plus P naught B XB, or you can write P naught A minus P naught A XB plus P naught B XB. This is equal to P naught A plus P naught B XB minus P naught A XB, and P naught A you take common XB. So this is P naught B minus P naught A XV. It gives the value of total vapor pressure by solution, right? Total vapor pressure by solution. Friends, if you know the value of P naught A, means vapor pressure of pure solvent, vapor pressure of pure solute, and mole fraction of solute, then you can calculate total vapor pressure, right? Now we will see the graph of Raoult's law. Well friends, we see the graph of graph related to Raoult's law, So, PA is directly proportional to mole fraction of component A, XA. So definitely graph will come like that. If XA is taken on x-axis and vapor pressure on y-axis, so it is directly proportional. So graph is a straight line. And here similarly, PV is directly proportional to XV. The graph comes like that. Here mole fraction of XV is less, so vapor pressure is less in comparison to XA. Now friends, if we add these two graphs, we are adding these two graphs like that. Okay, it will come like that. It's a mole fraction of XA, here 0, and mole fraction of XA equal to 1. And at this point, mole fraction of XV is 0 and mole fraction of XV equal to 1 at this point. So friends, vapor pressure by component B at this point is maximum. So this is the value of vapor pressure by component B. And here XA equal to 1, then there is no any concentration of component B. So vapor pressure is maximum here due to component A only. Now we see here, or any point you observe, at this point you observe, here concentration of component A is also there and B is also there. So vapor pressure by component A is this one vapor pressure. And at this point, vapor pressure by component B is this one. This much amount of vapor pressure by component B. If you calculate the total vapor pressure, so definitely this quantity of vapor pressure plus this quantity, it gives the value of total vapor pressure. So of course you see this curve indicate the total vapor pressure of solution. So you observe here that this much amount of vapor pressure is equal to this one. So this graph or this curve represent the vapor pressure of solution. That means P total equal to PA plus PV. At this point you see the vapor pressure by component X is this one and vapor pressure of B is also this one. So total vapor pressure is, it's a double like that. So it gives the value of total vapor pressure. Okay friends, I think you know the fact. Now next one, students, we see here Raoult's law is a special case of Henry's law. So according to Henry's law, partial pressure of gas is directly proportional to mole fraction of gas, and we write the equation KHX, right? And according to Raoult's law, partial vapor pressure of component A is equal to P naught A XA. So if you compare it, Here partial vapor pressure is directly proportional to XA. PA is directly proportional to XA. And here P is directly proportional to X. Only constant is there. Constant here, Henry law constant K is. And here constant is P naught A. That means vapor pressure of pure solvent. So you see it's quite similar to Henry law. So on you can say Rolle's law is a special case of Henry's law. Right, friend? Next, we see ideal and non-ideal solution. So friends, you know ideal solution, and it's a solution of two volatile component. You always remember a solution that obey Rolle's law over the entire range of concentration, That means so definitely it depends on the interaction. As here stated, a solution that obeys Rolle's law over the entire range of concentration. Suppose you have two components A and B in solution, and A stand for solvent molecule and B stand for solute molecule. So after adding any percentage of A and B, the vapor pressure of solution is directly proportional to mole fractions of both the component, right? So here I am telling it depends on interaction between AA molecule and BB molecule. So you see in ideal solution, interaction between A and A, it should be similar or equal to or nearly equal to B and B. And if you mix these two components, solute and solvent, a new interaction exists in solution, that is AB, and the interaction between AB must be nearly equal to AA interaction and BB interaction. Only then the solution obeys Rolle's law. Or in term of solute and solvent, you can say a solution is ideal when solute interaction nearly equal to solvent interaction is equal to solvent solute interaction. This is the condition for ideal solution. Only then the solution must be ideal, right? Now we see, you can write in this way: if A interaction is equal to BB interaction and this is equal to AB interaction, then solution is ideal. And in this situation, what is the effect of change in enthalpy? A mixing enthalpy. And what is the value of volume. So here see कि almost interaction is same. Interaction between A and BB is equal to interaction between A and A. So there is no case of bond formation, breaking of bond, beacons of bond, strengthen of bond, right? So delta H is 0. No enthalpy is changed in that case because there is no breaking of bond, no beginning of bond, there is no strengthening of bond. So delta H is equal to 0. And if bond strength is same, interaction is same, then there is no change in volume also. So delta V is also 0, right? So you can define in ideal solution delta H is equal to 0 and delta V is also equal to 0, right? So you can define in this way, but most appropriate definition is on the basis of solute-solute interaction is equal to solvent-solvent interaction is equal to solvent-solute interaction. Some examples are there. You can put some examples, right? In hexane, normal hexane and normal heptane, close to ideal solution. No solution is ideal, really. Close to ideal. Or second one, bromoethane and chloroethane, close to ideal. Or you can write benzene and toluene. It's a close to ideal, not perfect ideal solution, right? Now second is non-ideal solution. So definitely a solution that does not obey Raoult's law. So according to above discussion, you can say in such type of solution, A interaction and BB interaction is not equal to AB interaction, right? AB interaction is not equal to A and BB interaction, or in term of solute and solvent you can say solute and solvent interaction is not equal to solute solvent interaction. Now two cases arises here. First one is if AB interaction means solvent solute interaction is greater than solvent solvent interaction and solute solute interaction, in that case more interaction is there, interaction is more. So friends, you know, if interaction between molecules is more, then vapor pressure decreases, right? Vapor pressure depends on interaction between molecule. If less interaction is there, then vapor pressure is more, right? So in this case, vapor pressure decreases as the bond become strong between A and B in comparison to A and A, B and B. So vapor pressure decreases. So friends, it shows negative deviation from Raoult's law, right? That means vapor pressure is less as expected according to Raoult's law. And what about delta H and delta X? Delta H and delta V. So delta H here bond becomes strong. Strong, that means it's a case of bond formation. It's a case of bond formation. Right? So in bond formation, energy is released and delta H is negative. So you put here negative. And delta V, if bond becomes strong, so the distance between A and B decreases. So definitely volume decreases. Final volume decreases. So final volume minus initial volume, this is negative. So delta V is also negative. So always remember, if negative deviation is there, then delta H is also negative, delta V is also negative, right? Similarly, if AB interaction is less than AA and BB interaction, in that case, the bond between A and B becomes weak. Then what happens? Vapor pressure increases. That means vapor pressure of solution increases due to bond between A and B becomes weak, right? So it gives positive deviation. So such type of solution, such